I mean, just from your body of work and then the work you do in Schmigadoon, it's just like unbelievably deserved and robbed. You was robbed. I'm writing a strongly worded letter.
Well, it's, you know, that the one thing I love about the Tonys, I feel like the community in general on Broadway, as you know, even more so than, unlike, I should say, like, sometimes in film and television you lose a role, you feel like, oh, there were other things at play, but I feel like in theater, no matter what, the other contenders are always phenomenal and always incredible. Like, every role I've ever lost, I'm like, yeah, well, that person was really great. It could have gone that a really different direction, so I sort of consider myself lucky.
Oh, well, I mean, you're an icon. You're a comedian. Like, we've learned so much from you, just from, not even just theater, but all of your time on SNL and your, you know, infamous characters. Which of your, like, favorite characters, like, what's your favorite?
I don't really have a favorite. I'm that weird person who sort of likes all the different,
all
the different, pieces. But, you know, obviously on SNL I did so many musical characters and so many that they don't really air because music rights are so expensive on television.
Right.
So I have sort of a soft spot for those things that were a little bit more kind of rarefied, so Beyond and the music teachers and I did a lot of musical characters.
Oh yeah, well I feel like you and Will Ferrell, and you know, not Margaret, where's Margaret?
Margaret Cho.
Yeah, Margaret Cho. I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, on NPR.
Yes, on NPR. And she, especially that, I feel like I leave voicemails for my friends. It's just like, hi.
Very, very quiet.
It's Michelle here. Wondering if you got that voicemail I left you yesterday. It's a very dulcet tone, which I don't relate to, so I actively have to work hard to do that. And it's, you know, just these are iconic things that have taught so many women, I think specifically, just about comedy. And if you think about the women in your life who've taught you things about comedy, like what are the women, the big women who've really inspired you?
Well, you know, early on it was definitely character-driven, and musical performers, Madeline Kahn, and Lily Tomlin, and Carol Burnett, of course. Those were the early sort of sketch influences, I would say.
Yeah.
And then, since that time, you know, the SNL wasn't a great place for women when I got there, but by the time I left, it has a strong
I think
culturally. So my
big
crew is very.
I think you guys did that.
Yeah, but more and more women are there now, and those people continue to influence me in a really regular way. Rachel Dratch, my co-Tony nominee, who I write with, and
Well, how fun both of you are on Broadway at the same time, and Maya Rudolph was on Broadway.
Yeah, she's on
in O'Mary. That's so, like, how amazing to have, you know, it's like SNL ladies just taking over Broadway.
It's a natural transition in some respects, especially I think the kind of sketch performers the three of us are very stage-oriented.
Absolutely. Well, were you always a theater girl? Like, were you, like, just growing up, like, did you do, like, you know, plays at school?
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to be a comedian. That wasn't sort of my vision or plan, particularly. I mean, I knew by the end of college. So I went to Northwestern as a voice major, and in those days they didn't have a musical theater division, they just had opera. So I sang in as an opera major. I really didn't want to be an opera singer, but there was a lot of operatic interest in my family. And then when I got to Northwestern, because it was in Chicago, sort of the home of improv comedy, I met and got you know, into the comedy improv scene. So I didn't really realize that was something I was particularly good at. Even at college, I was like, I guess I'm kind of good at this. But I wasn't, as we say, on Broadway, talented enough to be in the ensemble. Which is to say, ensemble performers really have such that triple threat thing going. I could not make my way through a dance call. I took a lot of ballet, but I could never. So I was terrified about the idea of going to New York and trying to do that, but I had always wanted to do musicals. And so then, so I just ended up using the music a lot in sketch comedy and kind of came to the musical theater world from that path. So Mark Shaman, who we all saw last night on stage, was at one time the musical director of Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
So he wrote with Marty Short, and he wrote with a lot of musically minded comedic people. He's a very funny writer, very gifted musical comedian in amongst his many skills. And he when they were putting together Hairspray very early. I was still on SNL, and he and Scott Whitman had me come in and do, I think it was the second Hairspray workshop. So that was like my first experience kind of breaking into the workshop scene and understanding that. And Seth Rudetsky, who was also here, worked with the Rosie O'Donnell show. He was a music-oriented comedy writer.
Yes.
And we met at the NBC gym, and he was like, you sang High C the other night, I saw you on the monitor. He understood me musically. So again, there were these little crossovers, and I had a few people vouch, and I did a number of benefit concerts, the benefit concert,
yes.
Actors Fund, Hair concert, Funny Girl concert, thanks to Seth. And so I knew that I don't know, I loved it, and I just kind of set my sights on that when I left SNL. Started training again, really auditioning in earnest, and that's how I ended up, making my way towards Wicked, which really changed everything.
That really changed everything.
Yeah.
How lucky were you last night? For your Wizard and I. Like, that really was, when Michael Service was talking about how he was watching the concert, and he was like, everyone's giving these big, amazing performances, and I'm doing this little art piece. I'm like, what? I was like, babe, what are you talking about? I was like, honey.
I mean, that's what's so crazy in these environments where it's this all-star lineup of everybody. Like, we were laughing backstage, we were calling it the Still Got It tour. It lives in your body, as you know from singing Tracy last night, in a different way. But yeah, it really did change the trajectory because, I think people still think of me as like a funny lady who can kind of sing, but at least within the community, I felt taken seriously in a totally different way. Yes. I had actually been, since this is a Broadway panel, we'll talk about it, I had actually been a finalist for the last workshop of Wicked, but I was still on SNL, and I really wasn't like in that brain at all. I had done, my Broadway debut was the summer after my 5th season, my penultimate season at SNL, and I had replaced Joan Jett in the last Rocky Horror Revival. So that was my Broadway debut, and I knew I loved it, and I knew it was a career that I was going to really aggressively work towards when I left, SNL. But I didn't know how to sing at that. I didn't know that kind of stratospheric element of my voice at all.
Right. Well, because it's such a beast. Elphaba is such a beast. It's such a beast. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it 8 times a week.
I think it's hard.
It's so hard.
I think that I think my naivete kind of like just worked to my advantage. So anyway. So it was me and I think Adina and Julia Murney.
Wow.
The final 3, I believe. And then I ended up going back to SNL, season 6, and the show opened, the rest was history. But then, again, I auditioned. It was to replace Adina when she left.
Yeah.
And it was down to, I think it was Shoshana and Eden and me. And Stephanie J. Block went out on the road, and I didn't get it, and I was devastated. It was the hardest I'd ever worked on an audition. I, coached for weeks, and musical theater auditions are the hardest part of auditioning in any aspect of the business.
Yep.
So much material, so much.
Yeah, they're like, here's a packet.
Yeah,
it's like,
literally.
It's the whole show.
Yeah.
You're really great, thanks.
2 songs and 30 pages of sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and to like really have a command over it, hopefully, and to know you can do it. And I didn't get it, and I was crushed. And then, but I was sort of working away at it, and I did shows at the Pittsburgh CLO, and I did concerts, and I did things, you were working away at it. And then about 3 months later, Bernie Telsey called me, and he actually personally called me. He was like, hey, so the national tour sold out in a day in Chicago, and we're going to do our first sit-down in Chicago, and they would like to cast you. So would you want to go to Chicago? I thought because you went to Northwestern, you might have
connection.
Yeah, interest. And he was right. So I always tell that story because I also, with young performers, always want them to understand that it's really not always the job that you're auditioning for, that you're really putting in the work, and it may play out in a different way that you didn't expect.
Absolutely.
And that's happened to me several times in my career. So.
Right. Yeah, but anytime I've done in tech like classes and I've talked to kids and I say, if you just have to do your best in this audition room, but like sometimes it's not even about getting the part, it's about winning the room.
Yeah.
And if you do the work and they see how dedicated you are doing the work, they will think that they're like, well, she's so great, but it's not for this, but maybe for this over
you
here.
build up loyalty, and so one of my best friends is a casting director, and he's, I see it all the time where he's like, people are so snooty about, like, or crappy about, casting, we're so mean or whatever, but they really advocate for actors.
They really do.
They want to be made to look good in front of them. They've been hired by a director.
Correct, or producer.
So, yeah, exactly.
And I feel like there's a really big misconception, especially in auditioning, when you go in and everybody's behind the table and you're like, oh God, everyone's against me. I'm like, no, babe. They are hoping that you're the answer to their prayers. So you just have to walk in and be like, I'm the one.
Yeah.
And the more I feel like we take away that negative connotation from like the other side of the table, it's just they are all rooting for you. And once you kind of let that go, I feel like
it's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
But you're right. That is the trick. That's the brain trick.
It's the flip. You gotta switch it.
Yeah.
What else I wanted to ask you about? Did you see September?
No,
today?
I heard she was here.
I heard she was here too. I heard she was here too, and I didn't know, like, I didn't see her. I heard she was here this morning.
I felt badly. I was supposed to be in her panel. She had reached out to me.
Oh, right, that's right. We talked about that.
She's made some nice gestures after I lost. She reached out to me. I think she felt a kinship with me, and
because she's what, 4-time Tony nominated, 5-time, right? So
she did reach out, and she's sort of olive branch, which I appreciated.
That's really nice.
Mostly because it's just been a lot of unnecessary drama, as you can imagine. But
I was going to say this. I feel like this feud is not. It's fueled by the media. It doesn't, like people love to pin women against each other.
That's right.
And I just feel like maybe she's an old friend of me that people think.
Yeah,
there's actually.
I don't know her well. I just knew her work, and as a writer, I was kind of later to the party, as you can imagine. But our paths had not crossed much. So anyway, I felt bad because I was stuck on a personal call this morning. And
Well, hopefully maybe we'll get some pictures of you two later.
That'd be great.
Somewhere. We'll find time in the vendors. We'll go get those later. I wanted to discuss jazz.
Yeah.
Because I know you go on tour with a friend of mine, Lance Warren.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that's delightful. I love him. We work every weekend on Fire Island together.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly.
So come on out.
I will. Cherry.
But I love your jazz album.
Thank you.
And I'm a big jazz gal, so like I'm hip is just fabulous. And the Christmas album.
Sugar and Booze, yeah.
Yep, Sugar and Booze. Are we gonna get another jazz album?
I hope so. Yeah, hopefully soon. Schmigadoon kind of ate up what real estate was going to be preparatory for the next. But we have a ton of holiday dates this year, and hopefully in a town near you.
Oh, yay!
We have a ton.
Oh,
so
good.
I'm doing a couple symphonic, which are always really thrilling. Some of those songs are holiday songs that translate well to the symphonic stage. And then we're playing a bunch of jazz clubs all over the place, from New York. Honestly, I can't remember the routing list, but we're hitting the Midwest this year. We're hitting the West Coast. We're hitting DC, East Coast run. So it's a lot. I'm looking forward to it. I love the holidays. I love the holiday album. It's a good marriage of what I do, that component, because I love musical theater. But what I also love about standing in front of a band by myself is that the more sort of improvisational parts of me, and the more comedic. There's a lot of American songbook songs are so lyrically driven.
Absolutely, and are hilarious, and you can use those things together. I do. Yes, I do very similar things, and it's just I just think it's wonderful, and it's such a really great other side of your voice. Is you think like, well, here's Alphaba, and then here's a jazz album, and sometimes you think like, how is that mesh, or how is that coming from the same person? But it's just so vocally, like, it's so impressive.
It's very throwbacky,
which is my thing.
Yeah, and I think it's very, it's just more authentic in some ways. I mean, obviously, we are both vocal artists. We're always called upon to put a voice to a specific character
Sure.
to sing in that style. But what's nice about singing with the band is it's a little closer to just whoever you are. Yeah.
And especially with American Songbook, you know,
Yeah.
all of these songs, why they're still being sung
Yeah.
today is because they are relevant and the lyrics still speak to you, and so many people have recorded certain songs. When you think about why did everybody record this one song, like, well, because it's so great that you can interpret it in any way.
Well, and it used to be pop music.
That's right.
Right, so you all know, whatever.
Pop, yeah,
Larry,
because
yeah.
especially like in the early, like
Richard Rogers and Larry Hart were writing songs that were,
on the radio. And it's funny how it's swapped now, because you think about, like, people were doing covers of On the Street Where You Live.
Yeah.
Like Frank Sinatra's doing a cover On the Street Where You Live. And now, now there's jukebox musicals of pop songs on Broadway. So it's funny how it's like swapped over the years, which is interesting.
But
maybe we'll go back.
The common denominator is always musicianship and real vocal, like, ability.
Yes, articulation. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Now, I don't want to lose any time, so if you've got questions, we've got the microphone. Oh, thank you. It's like, and lights. So if you want to ask a question,
Step in the spotlight.
Step in the spotlight. Before we get to that, I want to ask what I've been asking all of our guests this weekend is, do you like, the Colbert show, he did the Colbert questionnaire. And I created a very similar one. It's called the Dr. Dowdy Deep Dive. And I think, a doctor. Thank you. I was like, where's our statement about any these songs? But these are supposed to be like rapid fire. Don't think too hard about it. We're having fun. Who's on your Broadway Mount Rushmore?
Oh gosh. I would have to put like a really classically gorgeous vocalist like Rebecca Luker, like somebody. Like sort of a stratospheric, clean and pretty. Just also because I would never be able to sing that way or not that way. Oh gosh, I don't know how many. Four. I'm gonna fall down. I would definitely put like a comedic, I would have to put like an Andrea Martin or somebody whose shoes I want to walk in, and who I think has done an amazing job of doing that. I would have to put, gosh, there's so many great male vocalists that I would want to put on there. This Santino or Michael, or real quality. Can I just put them both together in one?
Sure.
And then it's the gentleman with
you can do it
with meaningful. Oh, and then I guess I would have to put like a I don't know, it's like a Gwen Verdon or like somebody who could really dance and sing that's sort of a great
triple threat. I love that. These are wonderful. I love
that. I have to throw some dance in there because I really can't dance. So that's on the Mount Rushmore.
Coffee, energy drink, tea.
Coffee.
Yeah. Which wild party?
I'm gonna mess it up.
Lipa or Lacusa? Lipa.
Yeah.
Favorite villain of all time? Doesn't have to be theater.
Not theater?
Not theater. Could be anything.
Maleficent.
Yes, Maleficent. I was hoping for someone to say Maleficent.
She's kind of sexy.
Dude, she's
She's so hot.
Yeah, she's hot. Yeah.
She's
There's no ambiguity.
No, she's just like, I'm it.
Although I would say Pat Carroll's voicing of Ursula is very
Is also iconic.
It's so good. It's so dimensional.
Favorite Mama Rose?
I'm Patty.
I'm a Patty.
I saw Patty twice. I mean, she inhabited it so authentically.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's impossible.
It's impossible.
Obviously, Ethel too. I mean, those were my first records. When I first real leads, it was in 8th grade, and that was Annie Oakley. So, and Annie Get Your Gun. So I definitely schooled myself against an Ethel sound.
Absolutely.
But also I have a big loud belt, so I feel validated when I hear her.
That's right. Same. If you could go back in time machine, see any Broadway show, open or close, what would you see?
I mean, Gypsy's not a bad one.
I mean, I was gonna say that sounds like what I would pick too. Your favorite bop from a flop?
Bop from a flop? I'm terrible at that.
That's okay. We can come back to it if you want. But I just like saying
it's funny. I excise flops. I
don't know what it is, but I happen to see a lot of flops. I just like happen to be there, or I just happen to be like the invited dress of something, and I'm like, how was I the only person that saw Dr. Zhivago? Like how,
Yeah.
like there's things.
They talk about it a lot backstage, and I haven't ever walked out of a Broadway show.
I haven't either.
Which is
because you never know what's going to be in Act Two. What if there's an amazing 11 o'clock number and you missed it?
Correct. And there's always something on Broadway because it is literally the Olympics. Like it's the best people from all over the world coming to be, to work in one place. So even like the costumes will be amazing.
Exactly.
There'll be something that's
the set, the lighting.
Yeah, something.
Even Woman in White had that crazy set.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about it? But like
there's
that set was huge.
Vocal performances that you can't believe.
Correct. People would say that the Pirate Queen was a flop, but we also got Stephanie J. Block leading this musical for the first time, and it was incredible. She sang a song like "The Woman, I'm That Woman" or something.
Or she was holding like a baby in the wind.
Yes. I saw that invited dress too. I was like, we remember.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I was gonna say, what's your go-to audition song?
Oh, I'm a terrible auditioner. No, I mean, my answer is so bad. It's so bad.
What is it?
No, but I don't have a book because I don't have like the conventional direction to theater, so I'm always showing up. I'm just a sweaty mess. So it's always literally like something from Andy Get Your Gun that's like wildly inappropriate for whatever. They'll be like, they're developing like the Pirate Queen, and I'll be like, can I sing Moonshine Lullaby?
Which, honestly, if I've heard that, I'd say, yeah.
Literally, I sang that for falsettos and clearly did not get the job.
But I still think it's a good choice. I think it's a good choice. Have you heard of the Muppet Theory?
No.
So everybody has a Muppet inside of them, and they're either a chaos Muppet or an order Muppet. So like, I'm a chaos Muppet, and it's Miss Piggy.
Yeah. I'm a chaos one.
Yeah,
for sure. I wouldn't be able to name which one, but.
Okay, I was gonna say, she said for sure, so
For sure,
Janice.
so Janice.
So we're gonna say Janice?
Oh, Janice.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Or maybe even a Gonzo.
Yeah.
I feel like you try lots of amazing things. I feel like that's kind of your thing. What's your favorite smell?
Oranges.
This used to be all orange.
Orange.
Sorry.
They all put me in a good mood.
Lush has a wonderful hand balm.
I love anything
yes,
orange.
that's
It always
orange.
lifts the spirits.
Favorite Sondheim lyric?
Well, I played Fosca in Passion in Chicago, and it's so true that you don't know. You learn so much through learning a Sondheim role. You learn so much about the relationship between music and lyric, and those, even just singing like. There's so many good lyrics on the show. But
I love that.
Even in I Read, like I love that. I do not read to think. I do not read to learn. I read about the joys the world dispenses to the fortunate and listen for the echoes, which is like the most amazing lyric. It's literally saying I dive in and then I listen, and then the next line is I read to swim.
I read to swim.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
read to fly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's really good. That's probably my favorite answer of everybody so far. What was the first Broadway show you ever saw?
First Broadway show that I ever saw did not have an impact on me at all. It was Glengarry Glen Ross.
It's like it had no impact.
I was in 8th grade, so I was like, it was good. But we had a family friend who was a repertory actor at the Arena Stage. I grew up in DC, and he was cast in the one on the Dustin Hoffman one. So we went up to see that. And then my first musical also didn't have an impact on me. It was Cats, of course, and it was an obstructed view. So I was like behind a post for a lot of the show. And I vaguely kind of remember seeing things move behind the show. But also, like so many of us in the 80s, did not understand what the show was about. Really did not understand until Jellicle Ball, when I was like, oh, now I understand what this fucking show is about.
They actually made songs. No, put it down here.
I mean, it's literally, like, you're like, oh, I get it. It's a
contest.
It's a contest, and people have secret identities, and a lot of people are on poppers or whatever.
Loved it.
That's totally subplot.
Favorite part.
Favorite part.
I think I have to go back a fourth time now because I forgot about
the poppers.
It's the only time I revive. It's the revival.
It's fantastic.
I agree.
And the music's like seared in your brain, even though everyone's like, I hate cats. You know every word. Every single word.
At least every note. It's wild that you remember that.
I loved it.
I loved it, and I watched that PBS pro shot, like over and over.
Yeah, from the 90s.
It's from the 90s. I watched it over because I loved it.
What was wrong? Why? That was what we were being raised on, and I don't think we understood anything.
I don't think so. It felt like an acid trip, and maybe that's helped me.
I watched it because people were dressed as cats.
Yeah.
And dancing really well.
And dancing amazingly, and singing beautifully.
Yeah.
I'm like, I care about these cats, but I don't understand why we're here.
No, I don't either.
I'm like, why is there so little
Who's the
cats?
point? What's happening with the old one?
What's wrong with the old guy? Why did they pick out the old guy in the Moo Moo Love? Why did they pick out him? Well, let's get these questions. I want to make sure these people get to answer. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Sean. I know him as my friend.
Hi, I was lucky enough to introduce my boyfriend to you as a singer, which was really exciting.
Cool.
As a performer who has many hats, how do you let people know that you're right for a role that you're not necessarily known for, like when you're doing so many things?
Ooh, you mean like casting?
Yeah, I remember Last Performer, Still Walker, Dancers, like how do you let them know, like, hey, I'm actually right for this even though you know me as this?
Yeah, a lot of that just does come down to, like, I've had to make my own things a lot. Representation is going to be selling you and selling you and selling you to the best of their abilities, but to your point, if you're not known for one thing, it's very hard to switch hats. And so, again, the best possible way to do that is to generate your own material, which I've done. I produced my own album, I produced my own shows. It's everything I've put my own effort into. It sounds like you do that too, if you're burlesque. Again, the internet is such a great vehicle for that now, that if it's something, obviously you're not going to perform as a dramatic monologue, but you can tap into that ethos, a more dramatic version of something or conversation about something, or to try to represent that from a different angle.
Thank you.
It's good. Good question. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
I was wondering, what's your favorite prop in Wiki?
That's a really good question.
Great question.
It would definitely be the Grimmery, because it was unbelievably heavy and painful. But it's like the weight of a phone book, but you take it very seriously, and they've done such detailed work on it that you really feel like you're looking at a spell book, and it feels very magical.
Great question.
What's your favorite song in Wicked?
My favorite song in Wicked, based on my last answer, is No Good Deed. I know that is not as popular with the younger set, but I love the song. I think it's really musical. I think it's a great character song. I think it's the evolution of the character. It's all of her fury and frustration. I love it. I think it's a fantastic piece of writing.
I was gonna say, like, hot take. I think it's better than Defying Gravity. Hot take.
It's also harder.
It's harder.
Yeah, it is.
And it's harder musically.
to play, certainly.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. One time when we were in Chicago, the elevator comes from the sub basement basically, and the elevator broke. So we were down once the pit, and the elevator wasn't going up, but I had already started singing. Or it was maybe I don't know. They were playing and playing and playing. There is a vamp built in, yeah. But and you're dealing with people screaming it's now. You're trying to and I had to sprint underneath the stage. It was a full story and a half, right? Sprint in that dress, all that stuff with the spell book and everything. Running all the way under stage, up through the staircase where there were no sound monitors. It just was like a cinder block hall, and then run on stage. And I remember singing that, and the monkeys are just like. By the time my lungs were on fire. I remember
And then you had to sing that.
Then I'd sing it.
Do the rest of No Good Deed.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Oh, well, on that note, thank you so much for
Thanks,
being
you guys.